Okay. Hi, Seth Godin here with the inimitable, extraordinary Paul Jun. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Before we start, coin check.
Coin check. Coin check.
You got your coin?
Coin check.
Coin check. Okay, so what's with the coin? This is the altMBA challenge coin, which goes out to everyone who's part of it. I thought it'd be a good place to start. Challenge coins come from the military, and the idea is that there are certain settings where status roles are important, but you can't pay people extra money. And if you do a service for someone, if you stand up, if you're a linchpin, if you do work that matters, a general, a corporal, a vice president might give you one of these. And our challenge coin is interesting because half of it is blank. And the reason it's blank is so that we can teach people what it means to deal with the blank space. And that's what creatives do.
Yep.
And I'm here because Paul's one of our favorite creatives. And so why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what kind of creative you do and where you do it.
Yeah. My name's Paul. I am a writer and photographer. I'm the head of content at CreativeMornings. It is a free breakfast lecture series. We're in 184 cities now.
184 cities. Think about that for 1 second.
Yeah.
So once a month in 184 cities, a cohort of people, semi-leaderless, gets together and for free causes magic to happen.
Absolutely. You meet your local community. You get inspired from a local creative who gives an inspiring 20-minute talk. And we have 20,000 attendees every month and growing.
It's changing the world. And there you are in the middle of this, working hard. And so what do? You decide to teach yourself to become a world-class photographer. In your spare time.
In my spare time. It was an avenue of play to do something, I love the quote by, what's one of my favorite quotes, by Kurt Vonnegut. It was a response to a group of high schoolers that wrote to him. And he said to practice any art, dancing, music, photography, what have you, not to get fame or money, but to experience becoming.
To experience becoming. He then said, and what we have to do is find a cliff, throw ourselves off, and grow wings on the way down. And the growing wings part is, you were in which altMBA? 1, 2, 3? Early one.
The first one,
early
the inaugural.
altMBA 1. And from the beginning, we knew you had something going on, but your sophistication as a creator has gone through the roof.
Thank you.
And I think it's because you've developed the posture of growing wings on the way down. Right?
Yeah.
You were telling me earlier, talk a little bit about how the photography thing came. You went from somebody just fooling around to somebody who's getting paid gigs. How does something like that happen?
So what happened was on weekends, I was new to Brooklyn and my younger brother gave me his camera and I would just walk, 15, 20 miles on the weekends, just exploring my city and really getting familiar with it to feel welcome. And I realized, I started with street and it was fascinating because I had never, lived in a city like this. I had lived just as like a neighbor.
So when you say street, you mean street photography, which is a special concept.
Yes. So anything from taking a picture of a building to the symmetry in the subway station, anything that really
or sneaky pictures of people who don't know you're taking them.
That too, but I wasn't too good at that. All the pictures came out blurry. And then over time, I realized that I wasn't feeling fear. Ultimately, I wasn't scared to take a picture of something that just stands there, that just lives there.
Yep.
And so I wanted to do something scary because I knew that's what would push me creatively and personally. And so I did portraiture, and I started
that's about as scary as it gets.
It's a dance or a battle, and I started with the people that would put up with me, and I was just so fascinated by the process of taking someone's portrait, watching their facial expressions just kind of loosen up over time, right, and kind of open up their heart to me and kind of just show me for a little bit like who they were, and to capture that and to show them like, hey, what do you think of this?
Exactly.
And them saying, hey, can you send that to me right now?
So you took a picture of Kelly, who's provost of the altMBA.
Yes.
The best photo ever taken.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Because it gets to the heart of her generosity, yes, and magic.
And That happened in 15 minutes, but the years that we have developed
Exactly.
a friendship, the trust and the respect that we have for each other, I can see her for who she is, therefore I can capture it. I know when I see it.
So, the essence of what I'm trying to share with people here is you weren't born as a photographer and you weren't born as a writer.
No.
But it's all come as a result of acting as if.
Yes.
To be bad at it on the path to being good at it. To ship, to get feedback, to get better. And that mantra, I don't think it started for you at the altMBA, but that's at the core of the altMBA.
Yes. It started when when I was failing school, and I came to your 3-day seminar. And obviously, a lot of what you taught at that seminar is, also ingrained in the altMBA. But then, that seminar kind of set me up for success. It gave me a framework of shipping imperfect work, of being generous with my process, and also just, being okay with failure. When I shipped my second book and it was just kind of crickets and I wasn't getting the kind of praise that I really sought.
Sure.
It was a painful but necessary experience that it humbled me, and it gave me, and also made me realize that every time you ship a project, the next one can't help it. It's just going to be better, because when you put your heart into a project, you're essentially showing what's inside of you, your inner life, your beliefs, what you see, the change you want to put out into the world, and you have to ship in order to level up. I mean, I think that's just the code.
So Sam gave me a signal. I think that signal means I'm supposed to tell you a magic word. We've been doing this experiment for the last few weeks. We're going to continue doing it. Type the word START into the comments. It could be a capital S, capital T. Any letter could be capitalized. No letters, doesn't matter. Type the word START into the comments. And if you do, our robot will send you a note every day in Facebook Messenger with prompts, writing prompts, references to blog posts that I've done and other things. Might not work. If it doesn't work for you, you can always unsubscribe. But there you go, the word START. Were you going to chime in there? No? Okay. So, Sam,
yes.
Should I go to questions? You want us to talk a little bit more? What's your schedule like?
Yeah, we can go into some questions.
Let's do it.
All right, this one's from Steven. So what are the benefits to working with corporate folks for creatives? As a coach, did any of your students struggle with the differences?
Corporate coach. Yeah, I had students in the corporate world. I think it always goes back to empathy, and I think the immediate knee-jerk reaction is, oh, this person is so different from me that there's no way we can connect. But the coaching posture allowed me not to just also empathize with someone who is in a completely different realm than I'm in, but I can vicariously learn through their experiences and understand where that struggle is, and also is that also relevant in my personal life. Right. And so to be able to get someone to think more about the possibilities and not right versus wrong was just a profound shift. And to be honest, there are many times in a conversation where I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm qualified to be doing this, but then I would just kind of be there, listen, and just kind of show them the enrollment of I see where you're going. Exactly.
So part of what it is to be a professional creative is to get rid of the amateur mindset. The amateur mindset is there's no budget, there's no time limit, and my client is just like me. If I had those three things, that would be fun, the thinking goes.
Yeah.
But as soon as you become a professional, you're signing up for all three of those things. There's not enough time, there's not enough money, the client doesn't want what you want. If you want to be a professional, you have to get used to that.
Yes.
And we touch on that a lot, because shipping the work is different than saying this is my hobby. What else you got, Sam?
So this one's from Slaviana. How do you use the altMBA in your current role?
In my current role, so at CreativeMornings, I'm the head of content. What that means is I'm in charge of all of our outward-facing social media channels, a big newsletter, the blog. How I use it is, so the altMBA gave me a framework of great questions to ask. It taught me how to develop thoughtful strategies. And most importantly, it taught me how to work with my peers, to show them the vision that I had and the dreams that they had, and kind of showing them like, okay, we can go there together if we take this route.
That's profound. Yes. Well said.
Yeah. And I think the question, it's my favorite when I just simply ask someone, if they're asking me for feedback on a project, and the first question I start with is, well, what is it for? And the reaction is my favorite because it just doesn't seem like a default habit to ask that. We have to, be aware that is one of the most important questions to ask when you start an endeavor, so that you can get clear about where you're going.
Yep.
So that you don't thrash in the middle of a project, you can thrash in the beginning.
Exactly. I love that. So glad that stuck.
All right, we'll do 2 or 3 more.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, this one is from Terry. Can you tell us about the students you coach, their backgrounds, their goals?
I've coached hundreds of students, anywhere from an early college graduate to someone that was retired and looking to come back and to do more meaningful work. There has been every age group, everything from a financier to the lone freelancer illustrator. Here's the most fascinating thing, that everyone that I have, the hundreds of people that I've coached, all share a common desire, and that is to just simply level up. And what that means for them is, it might not necessarily mean, oh, I am in this role and I want to get to something, completely different.
It's not an external thing.
Right. It's internal. And I think when you surround yourself with people that, clearly communicate why they're here in this space for this reason, it's incredibly powerful, because you look around and go, oh, wait a minute, we're all here to level up.
Yeah.
Then, that just takes so much guesswork out of the process.
Exactly.
That we can just get to the work now. Yep. And help each other and set up a culture where we honor professionalism and kindness and generosity and shipping imperfect work. And through that, and also diversity is so fundamentally important. I mean, if you're only going to learn from fellow designers, that's not going to help you sharpen your craft. You have to learn from a complete diverse background of expertise.
Fantastic.
And they have to help you. They're going to see certain parts of your project or your work or your trajectory that you may have been ignoring or completely missed. Yep. And because they're seeing it with such fresh eyes, and because we're all on the same path of just going forward, it's nothing short of magic.
Nailed it. Yes.
All right, and this one's from John. Did your students go through any type of change? And if so, how did they change?
The change that I most commonly saw in the program was going, and this is something I noticed after the 4th, I think, session of coaching, was they went from lonely to connected.
Wow.
I remember one of the conversations we had where I think you asked me, like, after coaching 4 sessions, and this is in the beginning, what are you noticing? What's a pattern? And I was a little bit scared to say it, but it's still true today, is that many of us are very lonely.
It's true.
And we desire connection. We desire a community where not only like we're getting, but more importantly, we are giving our stories and attention and energy.
Exactly.
And, one of the most lovely sentiments of after the program is I don't have this in my personal work or my life in general, and that to be seen and heard in those 4 weeks, just you could see it in their eyes. I think if you look really closely, even if in a Zoom screen, you can see their eyes change a little bit. There's a little sparkle there, a little bit of possibility, and for me, I didn't know that was a change that I wanted to create,
right?
But it just kind of happened over time.
And then the cool thing, which is why it's worth persisting for me, is people then bring that posture to that place where it was missing, and they plant the seeds of it, and it continues.
Yes.
And the magic 18 sessions in isn't that we have 1,800 alum. It's that we have refined this method, which you helped pioneer, of seeing, being seen, giving feedback, getting feedback, shipping work, repeating, and doing it with a generous posture over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we had to make a lot of choices to permit that. No tests, no videos, no certification, no competition. Because if we added any of those easy to do things, it would be easier for us to run, but it wouldn't have the same output.
Right.
And so, thanks to people like you who got what we were doing right from the beginning, that's the culture that we've built.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, the timing was perfect because it's what I personally needed at that point in my life. Many of us, people watching this, I have no doubts that, you read many books and you have these different you have the habits of personal growth, but where's your community growth? Exactly. Where are the people around you that are holding you accountable and asking you and saying, hey, you told me about this thing last month. Are you 20% done or 80% done?
Yeah.
Where are you at with this?
Love it.
Right. Yep. And that ultimately having that accountability and support system has changed everything. I thought what I needed in order to succeed as a creative, or at least build momentum as a creative, I thought it was different. I thought I had to be picked by a famous person that had 1 million viewers on the podcast so that my name could finally get out there. But no, it was the people that were side by side, going in the same direction that I was, and just saying like, hey, you got this. Yep. Let me know if you need help. I have your back.
Perfect. So one last mention, Creative Mornings. If you're not a member, you should join. If you're not going, you should go. There's no excuse. Breakfast is included. Sometimes.
Breakfast is included. Free breakfast, free coffee on a Friday every month.
Yeah.
And an inspiring 20-minute talk. All of our talks are online for free. And it's just an engine of generosity.
Well done. Well done. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Paul, for everything you do.
Thank you so much.
It's magical. Thanks, Sam.